Having said that, I'm going to shut my big trap up now and hand it over to Stefan Verstappen. And Stefan, for those new to the show, maybe just quickly give the rundown. We'll do some promoting at the beginning of the show and the end of the show for this one, and let everyone know where they can find your stuff and what you're currently promoting. And Stefan wants to talk what he's expecting in 2024.
Was that my introduction?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go.
That
Yeah.
was it? That's all
Should
you
I
could
get the
come up
drum?
with,
Should I get the
Eric?
drums out? Get the spotlight out?
After all the years we've been together?
That's right. You're feeling shafted. You said you're thinking I deserve something better for 2024 as we head into 2024.
Yes, I do. I've been fighting this battle for more than 40 years, Eric. I saw this all coming. I did what I could, but um, people like us are not appreciated in these times. Everybody's just too brainwashed and too asleep and too stupid and dumbed down. What? That's the way it is. Look, we live in an evil world, and those of us who follow the path of virtue, whether you're a Christian or like me, or just like a stoic, um, we are the minority and we are the persecuted ones. We are. I remember I had a guy write me from Scotland because he knew of my martial arts training, and he says, "Well, I bench press 350 pounds. I train 8 hours a day, and on the weekends I go into town and I pick fights in bars. And how would you rate me as a warrior?"
Really, you really said that.
Yeah,
How's that? How's that even being a warrior?
I know. Come on, I remember when I was taking taekwondo. These taekwondo assholes would go into bars and sucker punch people, and they think they were being a street fighter. I'm going. Anyways, I wrote back to him. I said, okay, the ultimate test of being a warrior is go out and do a good deed.
Right. Yeah.
And if you're still alive the next day, write me back. I never heard back from him, so I can
Right.
only
Right. Right.
imagine he did a good deed and was immediately murdered for his effort.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
tipped. He tipped 16% instead of 15.
Yeah. Anyway, so listen, 2024 is coming, folks. What can we expect? Now, I'm taking all of my predictions from my book, The Art of Urban Survival, which I wrote about 15 years ago. And I wrote it in such a way, because at that time I already knew we're going down the toilet. But what I did was I wrote it according to the stages you can expect to see as we go down the toilet. So the first thing you're going to expect to see is crime. As things get worse and as the economy collapses, and we see already now what's going on, my God, it's ridiculous. The crime rate is going to go through the roof. So what we can expect to see is a lot more crime. And what you're talking about, consulting on relocation, excellent. Yes, please, listeners, contact Eric, talk to him about relocating because that's the number one survival strategy right now. Get away from the big cities. Now, look, I know it's easy to say move. I moved out of the big city and it cost me a lot of time and it cost me a lot of money and a lot of effort. It was grueling. It was really a nightmare to get out of the city. But I'm out now and I'm okay. I'm in a small town out in a rural country surrounded by Amish and Mennonites and good people and farmers. It's the difference between night and day. I can't tell you. Country folk are what's left of the good old fashioned Americans, old fashioned Canadians, the kind of people I remember when I was young. Honorable, hard working, blue collar, and not too many opinions about everything. They're just good people. They work hard and they look after each other. Compared to the city, it's like night and day, Eric. It's unbelievable. There's something about living in a big city, and there's reasons for this. I've studied psychology. There's a certain reason why people, when they're living in a high density environment, just remember the mouse experiment from the 1950s, where they built these homes for mice, and they made sure that the mice were overpopulated and high density. And what happened is the mice started tearing each other to pieces.
They
So
outdo each other,
Yeah, they started tearing each other to pieces, and eventually the entire population collapsed and died. And there were stages in between time where more than half the mice went gay.
Oh, well, there you go. That explains a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it explains a lot. So, anyways, living in a big city, there's a psychological reason why people that live in high density areas turn on each other. It's part of human nature. That's why big cities are terrible places to live, and you got to get out of the big city. And one of the big reasons is the increase in crime. Now, if you can't get out of the big city, and I I used to think the same way, like, oh yeah, easy for you to say, get out of the city. You don't know, but I have a job here. I got kids. I got school. I got 5 tons worth of furniture and equipment, and yeah, I know it's tough, but if you
Could
can,
cost you your life if you don't. Might
but
not be around here soon.
but it could mean the difference between life and death. Look, if you can't make it out of the city, at the very least, take steps to fortify where you live now, whether you're in a house or a townhouse or a condominium or an apartment. There are things you can do to fortify your home. Now, even if you don't have the money for, steel frame doors and steel doors and double bolt locks and bars on the window, that's a lot of money too.
Mm.
But there are other things you can do, homemade inventions, booby traps, ways of securing the door. Go out and buy a bunch of 2x4s and set it up so that you can board up your front door and your windows with 2x4s across them. Get a sheet of 10-inch by 3 foot half-inch plywood and hammer about 50 nails in it. Sharpen those nails on a grinder, and you can leave them nails pointing up in front of the door, in front of the windows. These are all booby traps to secure your house. They don't cost as much money. If you have the money, yeah, get bars on your window. When I lived in China, every house and business had a double front door, a bar and steel front door, and then behind that was a solid steel door inside a solid steel frame because, well, because they had a lot of burglaries. This was
Hmm.
China, and they all had bars on their window, even if they were on the 6th floor, because Taiwan was famous in those days for cat burglars. They can climb up 6 floors from
Oh my
balcony to
gosh.
balcony, and they can get in through
Spider
your,
Man.
huh?
Spider Man. The original Spider Man.
Well, yeah, but that's what they did. The other thing is broken glass on the top of your fence embedded in concrete. Everywhere I went, broken glass embedded on the top of the cinder block walls that they had, so people couldn't climb over. Or barbed wire. But if you don't have barbed wire, broken glass bottles cemented, you know, around your front balcony. Look, because it's going to get that ugly. It is. It's already bad enough. So make sure that you always have a weapon on you when you go out. It would be nice if you could get a concealed carry, but a lot of people don't have that option, and we don't have that option here in Canada. But I do carry a weapon when I go out. I've got my folding baton, but even better than my baton is my walking cane. You've heard me talk about this many times. A cane is a great weapon. So expect to see more crime. Take precautions. If you're going to go grocery shopping, take 2 cars. You and your husband, let the wife go in to the grocery store, get the groceries. The husband wait outside in a separate car and keep an eye on your wife's car. Now, when she comes out of the grocery store, you keep an eye on her. And if you see a bunch of guys following her to her car, then you can come up behind them. They don't suspect you. You're in a different car. You're just being the guard. Things like that. It's all in my book, The Art of Urban Survival. How to be safe, how to double check that you're not being followed, because that's another big increase we're seeing these days is follow home crimes. There are guys that are waiting out in front of the jewelry store or the Nike store or the bank, and they're out there to see if you go in, and what kind of money you're spending. And then what they'll do is they'll follow you home. And they might even pull you over on the side of the road in broad daylight. I've seen videos that like that happens. Be aware of the box. It's in my book, The Art of Urban Survival. The box is where one car pulls in front of you and then stops suddenly.
Right. You see that in movies a lot.
Yeah. And then there's another car that's been following you and they pull up to your bumper. Now you can't drive away. And you got guys on the back car, 2 or 3 guys get out with guns. You're done, you know. So you've got to be aware of the box. They're doing that now. But if you have your own backup, we have to be our own backup, right? If you have your own backup, then at least you have a fighting chance against them. So crime is going to go through the roof. Now, there's another thing, is urban warfare. You know, Eric, I used to tell people there was absolutely no reason for America to get involved in World War II, well, get involved in Korea or Vietnam or World War II or World War One. America has never been under threat from any country in the world because of the logistics of trying to move troops across either the Atlantic Ocean or across the Pacific Ocean. We've never been under a serious threat ever. But now, I got to say that I've been, I didn't expect this. With all my training and strategy and tactics, I never imagined that we would import a foreign army and put them up in hotels at taxpayer expense.
Eating steaks and ribeye, getting ready.
Yeah, giving them cell phones and steaks and ribeyes and putting them up at hotels while our own veterans sleep on the streets. And that's what they've done. Don't tell me, look, this is exactly what they've done. They've already imported an army onto American soil. Look at the border there down south. Oh my God, what a joke. Yeah. What a effing joke. Pisses me off, Eric. You know, how many have they let in? 65 million, 80 million? We don't even know anymore. And lo and behold, they're all young fighting age men. You don't see women and children, rarely. A few coming up from Honduras or whatever. But the ones in the boats and all that, it's all young men, which tells you everything you need to know. Number one, it's an invading army. It is. Let's not play around. These people are here and they're invading. And if you don't think there are already stockpiles of firearms sitting in warehouses all over America waiting to be accessed by these men, then you don't know what's going on. So we got to get our neighborhood watch together. These people are going to attack us sooner.
It's coming, yeah. Just like the movie The Purge, yep.
Yeah. And we need our own local militias, a neighborhood watch group, you and your neighbors, and make sure you all have firearms and know how to use them, because it is going to get down to that. And I'll tell you what, young fighting age men, they're refugees, the poor babies. Oh, they're fleeing conflict. Where's their wives? Where's their mothers? Where's their sisters? So you're fleeing from this horrible event taking place in your own country, and you leave all the women folk behind? Just you come over here? So, first of all, they're cowards. Second of all, they're parasites. And third of all, they're enemy combatants. These refugees are enemy combatants. And I listened to a podcast the other day from a hotel owner in England. Oh my God, but it's exactly what I expected. Exactly what I expected. Anyways, he said that the government came and contracted his hotel. They wanted to put up 300 refugees. And so he had to close down his business. The government paid him a lot of money, so he couldn't complain too much. And now he's got 300, third world scumbags living in his hotel. Yeah. Then, and this was all government, through government agents came in and set this all up. He said then a government agent came in and they brought in like 20 crates, and they wanted to store it in their storage area. I think he had a garage. So they wanted to store these crates. They were all locked. And they also gave the guy a package, and they said, "Don't open this package until we tell you." So
Right.
now
I saw that.
he's getting suspicious. What's going on here? So he opened the package. In the package was the names of 30 of the refugees, and each refugee had a key. So he took one of the keys, and he went down and he opened up the crates. It's full of AK-47s.
Hmm.
Another crate was full of hand grenades.
Oh boy.
Another crate was full of ammunition. And so he moved the crates off the property. He sent it to a storage facility but Eric, that's what they're going to do. It's already
Yeah,
happening.
for sure.
That's what they're
For
going to
sure.
do. Why do you think all these people are here? Why are
That's
they
right.
all here? Nah, yeah, we know. We're going to give them welfare. We're going to give them cell phones and all the white women they can rape. Um,
Mm.
but why is it always these young military age men? So I guarantee you it's happening right now. There's storage lockers all over America, full of arms and munitions, and not just AK-47. It's going to be rocket launchers and RPGs and machine guns. And now you've got a million of these people. Let's look. We had 65 million or something come in. Let's say it's just 10%, 650,000. That's already more than double the entire armed forces of the United States. All right? And they're all going to be armed. What chance do we have? This is really bad. So prepare for war, folks, and prepare for war on your own streets. I'm not kidding about this, which means I'm thinking about it this week. Should I get another 100 rounds of 9 millimeter?
Mm.
I could use another 60 rounds of double aught buck. Yeah, I'm going to start stocking up a little bit on it. I've got a little bit extra money this month. Maybe I'm going to spend $100 on ammo and another $100 on antibiotics. Just
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like I keep adding to my preps. Look, I'm not a hospital. I'm not a warehouse, but I'm getting there with medical supplies and ammunition. I've got a lot. I got like 4,000 rounds of 22. 250 rounds of 9 millimeter, 60 rounds of shotgun shells, various kinds, goose shot, bird shot. I even got some of those shorts. Keep adding to your preps, folks.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, if you can't move out of the city, fortify your location. Make sure your apartment, your house, your condo is as secure as possible, and that you do have some weapons, and that wherever you go, you got to go with the buddy system now. Okay, one person alone going to
Mm.
the store is an easy target. So if you don't go side by side, actually the best situation is to have somebody follow you in a separate car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and watch.
Now, stuff with the neighborhood watch. You want to break that down? We got about like 5 minutes or so left. You want to break down like parameters for that, like what should be discussed? Is that also like um, one of those things where you have like a rotation of people like watching at certain times, two by two? Like, how does that like formally look?
Well, you can
How does a
set it
good
up
neighborhood
different
watch?
ways. Um, Probably you have a neighborhood watch where you live already. So join them. Contact them, join them. I'd like to be a member of the neighborhood watch, and they'll explain everything for you. Now, as things get more serious, then you can start doing a rotation. Set it up. Who's going to watch what, when, where, and of course, make sure you've got your ham radios. Again, communications people, make sure you get your ham radio and that everybody on your neighborhood watch knows which frequency to tune into to talk to each other. Okay, yeah, use the cell phone while it still works, but if anything happens to the internet or the cell service, you got to use the radio. So join a neighborhood watch. If there is no neighborhood watch, you can form one. Call your local police station. They have people there that work with people in neighborhood watch. They'll help train you and then recruit as many of your neighbors as you can. Preferably neighbors that've got, cojones, no soy boys, right? You need good old fashioned men, Vikings and Celts and dare I say Polacks. Um,
Right, right. Yeah, men out in skirts cooking a ribeye in the backyard.
exactly.
Nice
Make
beard. Yeah.
and have a couple of meetings and talk to each other. Look, the worse things get, the more open people will be to joining a neighborhood watch. So that's, I could go on and on. We got a lot we could talk about, but time is short.
Hmm.
So that's what I wanted to say now. Remember, crime is going to be on the increase. There's a very good chance that all these so called refugees may morph into a militia and may start walking down the street shooting people. Um,
Yep.
because look, they hate us. They hate us. All these
Sure.
people that are coming into our countries, they hate our guts. They'd happily murder us all if they could. So just be prepared, guys and girls, and fortify your home. Again, had one of my community members say the other day, they said, "Oh, did you hear that maybe on January 1st they're going to shut down and the grid and they're going to start a war and what do you think about that?" And I said, "Listen, I've heard these predictions for the last 25 years. I'm not kidding. Every month it's at the end of the month, at the end of the week, next month they're going to." I've heard these kind of doomsday predictions for 25 years. I said, "There's nothing you can do about it. Anyways, the only thing you can do is be prepared.
Yeah.
That's it."
Just actively keep preparing and build upon. Yeah, I mean, for like me, like I'll break down different categories. Like you said, like with ammunition, I've got a whole like spreadsheet on that, like what I have, how many rounds per each thing. Maybe if you're doing food, I'll actually break it down to different like food categories of the things I have. Like I break it down per category, know where I'm at, and like
Yep.
you said, just keep adding to it. Antibiotics, same thing. Like you said, that's what I'm actually working on. Moving on into 2024, a lot of good like herbal teas and stuff like Ezia tea and what's the other one? A soursop tea, which is really good against cancer because they're trying to give us cancer like a million different ways
Oh
between
yeah.
what's in the food and the air. So like Ezia tea and like soursop tea, that basically like eliminates like all cancer in your like so
Yeah.
get that stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, just keep breaking it down.
Yeah. That's
Um,
that's all we can do, folks. Stay prepared. Whatever happens will happen. Okay. But if you're prepared, then look, you don't have to worry. We're ready. Eric's ready. I'm ready. My community is ready. Geez, I got a whole community I can rely on. I'm in great shape to withstand and survive whatever happens. Whatever happens, we're in a good position, and that's what you need to think about: get in a good position, relocate if you can, but if not, stay where you are, secure your environment, and get a neighborhood watch group together, and do the best you can. That's all we can
yeah.
do.
All right, buddy. What can we help you promote this month? What you got going on?
Well, listen, get the Survival Library download. Over 320 books, all my books, plus my book, The Art of Urban Survival, which contains everything I've just told you about, crime and violence and preparedness and bug out bags and strategy and tactics, and it's all in that book. It's really an amazing book, and it's included in the survival download. So you get all my books and an additional 320 books.
Nice. No, good, all good stuff. We appreciate the time as always, Stefan.